I do want to bring into the conversation millennial therapist Tess Brigham, who's joining us via Skype, because you say a lot of the issues millennials are dealing with now actually come from how they were raised. Can you explain that further?
What I found from my research and my experience is that millennials were raised in this by primarily baby boomers and older Gen Xers. And they were really reacting to their own parents. Their own parents had gotten divorced. They felt like their parents didn't pay enough attention to them. And so what happened is they decided to really parent differently. And so the belief was the best way to improve your child's self-esteem was to praise them, to get rid of red pens in schools, to give everybody a trophy, which is how a lot of the misconceptions have come about, where we have this generation of people that are being told that they are entitled, which is not at all what millennials are. But a lot of parents and a lot of schools got bad information. We know today that young people they need help with resilience, they need help with grit, learning to fear failure, all of those things. But the problem was the millennials had already gone through the school system. They were already raised. It wasn't until they were in high school or college that we really realized that there was a lot of bad information out there.
What are the solutions to deal with answering those questions?
If you are finding that you are struggling with your sense of self, with who you are, you're struggling at work or at home, that it's really the process of looking inside of yourself and really tuning out all of the white noise of the world around us.
So Tess, can you talk a little bit about social media, how that is affecting millennials and their mindset and their anxiety?
If you're young and you're in your 20s and you're trying to define who you are, as you're trying to figure out what's my career going to be? Will I ever fall in love? Will I find the one? All of these big pieces of your life, it's really difficult and stressful to then go on social media and see and believe that you are not doing anything right. The other thing is we found through studies is that even though we know what we're seeing on social media is false, even though we know that intellectually, emotionally, when we look at the phone, we still get that hit, and that hit of feeling like I made bad choices or I'm inadequate or I'm not enough.
I just want to shout out to Dr. Ordon here, because you have 2 millennial kids.
I do.
And I'm listening to all this narrative. Both of your children are incredibly successful. They're both hardworking. My observation is they have that grit and that resilience as residents in neurosurgery and psychiatry. How did you instill that in them?
I never said, oh, I want you to become doctors. That was never part of the equation. Is I showed them that I went through a lot of schooling, but I enjoyed the journey as well. I talked about my training and everything to get to the point that I finally got to as a positive thing. So I guess that left them with a certain message, and they were able to enjoy nice things growing up. But I think that they understood that it was a result of hard work on my part and my wife's part. And
I think that what you also taught them is to have a sense of purpose. And I think it's really difficult nowadays, if you don't have a sense of purpose, to find your way in the world. And, you know, that's something that I think isn't talked about enough. I'm really proud of your kids.
And they both,
they
in
are
this day and age, as millennials, they chose a route that involved a lot of true grit and delayed gratification, which is sort of the exception than the rule these days. But it can happen.
It's important to note that going and becoming a doctor isn't what we're talking about here,
Correct.
because you can do
I'm
anything
talking
in
about
life,
that
but how do you...
that resilience, that
Yes.
hard-working ethic, that lack of entitlement, and I'm curious as to
The
all
long
of
haul.
you.
So yeah, how do you
instill that?
You told them the journey, you told them how hard it was, that you wanted to be a doctor, that you had this goal, that you pursued it, which is amazing. And what I'm finding is not enough parents talk to their kids about that. What they told them was, if you work hard in high school, then you'll get into a good college. If you work hard in college and get great internships, you'll get a great job, and therefore you'll be happy. What I found with my clients is what was really missing was that piece of it, which was you can do anything you want, you can be happy, but careers are long. You know, hard, if you want to get to a certain level, that it takes years and years and years of determination, and that kind of goal is worth it.
Tess, you're on to something. Obviously, this is what you do for a living. We really appreciate your insight.